So you will hold your picture like this and they will say, in that picture.
Yes, yes. And I'll do this. I'll
this
say this and I'll say this.
Is this Vice?
Yeah?
Who's Vice?
Vice is not in that one.
Okay.
Vice is not in that. That is in yeah.
I'll hold this one. Did you keep one?
Yeah. So
You may want to pass maybe one down here.
well, I'll explain. I'll explain what the different pictures are. Say.
I want to make a video as well.
Yes.
Video.
It's okay. I'll make it. Thank you.
So the topic today is Henry Barlow. Christopher Henry Mwanga Barlow, renowned Ugandan poet. Of course, the first thing that will come to mind is, how is he Barlow? How is he Barlow and how is he Ugandan? Where does the Barlow name come from? I think I'll start there. Henry Barlow was born of John Barlow and Marisa Barlow. Now, John Barlow was born of a British soldier in 1903. In 1903, his father was with the King's Armed Rifles, and somewhere in West Nile he sired a son. So it's West Nile, a place called Domola. We can't quite place where it is.
I know where that is.
You know where Domola is?
My mom's from West Nile, so.
You know Domola?
Yes.
To be honest, I've looked for Domola and I do not know where Domola is.
Really?
That's lovely. So for years we've never known where Domola is, but that's where our grandfather was born. Our grandfather was born in Domola, and he was brought to the missionaries. When he was brought to the missionaries here, the missionaries said they were in touch with the father who did not shy from his responsibility. He had a friend called Reverend Walker, and said, well, get him into a good Christian family and raise him there, and afterwards he'll go to say honor his brother words and so on. And so he was put in the care of Mika Sematimba, the Makamba, who was a chief, one of the first people to go to the UK. And he raised him as his own, except he allowed him to keep his name. This is Mika Sematimba, who passed away in 1953. Here he is with my grandfather and Henry Barlow. Okay? Henry Barlow was the firstborn son of John Barlow. They were a family of 9. So John Barlow grew up in Sematimba's household. He became a teacher, and when he became of age, Sematimba gave him land where he married from. And this is his wedding, my grandfather's wedding, in 1928, 4th August 1928. Now, his bride was the sister of Ike Musazi. Some of you may know Ike Musazi. Ike Musazi was John Barlow's very good friend in school, and they were teachers. They taught together in Budo. John Barlow is here. Ike Musazi is here.
You don't have a national?
No, he started the first
UNC, Uganda
party,
National
the first political party, and he's only one of 2 people buried in Colorado.
Yes.
He was the father of, so Ike Musazi gave John Barlow his sister.
Oh, his sister.
Yes. So they were quite close, and even in this picture here, Here they are. This is John Barlow, Ike Musazi. And their wives, and this is Ike Musazi's father.
I have to ask you.
Yes.
Because it's killing me.
Yes.
Do you know Linda Barlow?
Yes, Linda's my cousin.
She worked with us.
Huh?
She worked with us. You know, she was a resident of Johnstown.
Very well, that's true. So this is the old age Ike Musazi with John Barlow. All right. And sorry. So many pictures, but they still tell. So these here show the early part of the family. This is in the 40s. This is in the 40s. This is Henry Barlow. Okay, this is his father, and then this is Ike Musazi. Ike Musazi, he had just come out of prison, so you can see the beards, and these are his children and nephews and nieces. So why I bring this up, it's about to give you the background of Henry Barlow's fight for justice. He had background of his uncle was a fighter for human rights and stuff. So Henry Barlow too was like I said, was the firstborn son of my grandfather, and this being the whole family. This is the last picture they took in 1979. It included Dr. Jack Barlow, who was murdered in 1979, was the head of dental school. David Barlow, that's Linda's father. Then there's Hugo Sematimba Barlow, who was part of the Echibina Cholulimi of Uganda. He was a poet in Uganda. Right, that was the second born. So anyway, unfortunately, all these have died. The last person, there's only one who's surviving, the third born. My mom passed away in April this year. Okay. So, which brings us to this. Now, in the second poem I'll read, it's Aaron to Sibe Malizibwa. Sibe Malizibwa was my mom's Luganda name. Sibe Malizibwa is from the Luganda proverb. Abalundi Sibe Malizibwa, Oba Tebe Malizibwa. You know, the beauty of, you don't overcount on the beautiful ones. I mean, they can leave any time. Yes. That was her name. Yes. So actually, shortly after my mother got married, a year after she got married, her husband went to India to complete a paper in architecture, and then passed on from there. In India, yes.
Shortly after?
Yes. Within a year, he passed on. He used to write to my mother a letter every Thursday or something. She would get a letter every Thursday. Then for 2 Thursdays, there was no letter. Okay? And by then, they said he was very sick. So it was his friend who wrote the letter. Some of you may have heard of Chintu Musoke. Yes. Chintu Musoke. Former Prime Minister. Yes, they were together in India. So he wrote his behalf and said he was in hospital. Sadly, he passed on. And then so they sent a message through the Foreign Office to Sam Odaka, who told Henry Barlow, and it was Henry Barlow's duty to go and break the news to his young sister. His sister was 15 years younger than him. They were close. She had actually met her husband at Henry's household in Barlow, and he was working in Mbale. So This is my mother with Henry Barlow. They were very close. And that was about the time. This picture, my mom was a secretary. This picture is about the time when she lost her husband. Shortly. Okay, this is a bit after, but she was a young person, so we'll get to that. So that's a
visual
brief
storytelling.
that's a brief history of our.
Rusha
Oh
will be
yeah.
so proud.
So then this is my grandfather and Henry Barlow. He's the heir. He was the heir of Henry Barlow. So he's my uncle and grandfather at the same time, because he eventually became my mother's father. He passed on in 2006. Well, John Barlow, a lot of the other information you can get on the net also, but Henry Barlow was the firstborn, was born in 1929, 1st May. So we always had open house at his place. He was, as a person, he was a very jocular person, very jocular, as you can see. He was a lively person. He always had a joke. He always had a joke for everything. Then he wrote poetry for himself. I think for his studies, he did agriculture economics. He has no literary, whatever literature he learned when he was a student in Budo. That was when he was, so I think there's an interview where he says there's a certain teacher called Herbert who interested him into poetry. So he wrote his poems as an escape. Like anybody else, everybody's got challenges. So he had his personal, familial challenges and other things. And also, when you see injustice around you, because there was injustice, and also then there were the growing pains of independence, all right? And this poem, for example, Building the Nation, is about that time. It's about self-importance, you know. There was an elite, and then there are those who know. But so that's enough for the background, I think. Let's get into the poem, and then I think we'll build on the poems. Let me see.
Wow, this background.
This one.
So, you're welcome. Yes, so I'm going to read the poem, Building the Nation.
I wish Peter was here. They always bully him with this one.
Today, I did my share in building the nation. I drove the permanent secretary to an important urgent function. In fact, to a luncheon at the Vic. The menu reflected its importance. Cold bell beer with small talk, then fried chicken with niceties, wine to fill the hollowness of the laughs, ice cream to cover the stereotype jokes, coffee to keep the PS awake on the return journey. I drove the permanent secretary back. He yawned many times in the back of the car. Then, to keep awake, he suddenly asked, "Did you have any lunch, friend?" I replied, looking straight ahead and secretly smiling at his belated concern, that I had not, that was slimming. Upon which he said with a seriousness that amused more than annoyed me, "Mwananchi, I too had none. I attended to matters of state. Highly delicate diplomatic duties, you know. And friend, it goes against my grain, causes me stomach ulcers and wind." Ah, he continued, yawning again, "the pains we suffer in building the nation." So the PS had ulcers too. My ulcers, I think, are equally painful. Only they're caused by hunger. No sumptuous lunches. So, two nation builders arrived home this evening with terrible stomach pains. The result of building the nation different ways.
I repent for all the time I've read this poem because